In 1983, while searching for a local underground newspaper to publish his work, Kevin Eastman began a professional relationship with Peter Laird, and the two collaborated for a short time on various comic projects. In May of 1984, Eastman and Laird self-published the first black and white issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This 40-page oversized comic had an initial print run of 3,275 copies and was largely funded by the $1,000 loan from Eastman's uncle Quentin. They published it under their own studio name, Mirage Studios, and by September 1985, the first issue had received 3 additional printings, and the rest was history. Thanks to the comics, television series, toy line, video games, and live-action films, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have become a pop culture phenomenon that is still going strong even today. In this episode of Tony's Comic Spotlight, we celebrate the 39th anniversary of the first appearances of Master Splinter, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, and the Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 from 1984. As our story opens, 4 13-year-old mutant turtles trained in the art of ninjutsu fight up against 15 members of the Purple Dragons gang in New York City and soundly defeat them. They fade into the shadows and return to their home in the sewers beneath the city. These turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo, report to their sensei, Master Splinter, of their victory. Splinter sits them down and tells them the tale of how they came to be. 20 years ago, Splinter was a normal rat and the pet of a ninja warrior named Hamato Yoshi. Hamato Yoshi was a revered member of a clan known as the Foot. He lived in a cage in Yoshi's home in Japan. The rat would watch his master training and learn to imitate his moves. Hamato Yoshi was in love with a young woman named Tang Shin, but Shin was also the subject of another's attention, Yoshi's fellow ninja Oroko Nagi. It came to pass that Oroko's obsession for Tang Shin turned violent and he attacked her, demanding that she would love only him. Hamato Yoshi came home and flew into a rage, beating Oroko Nagi to death with his fist. Yoshi and Tang Shin decided to leave Japan and fled to New York City, where they opened up a martial arts school. Nagi's younger brother, Oroko Saki, swore vengeance against Hamato Yoshi and trained intensively. As luck would have it, his master sent him to America to head up the New York branch of the Foot Clan. Donning a helmet and a suit of armor, he became known as the Shredder. The Foot created a cartel of drug dealing, weapon smuggling, and assassinations, but it was revenge that Saki craved most. He broke into Yoshi's home one night and slew him and Tang Shin. During the struggle, Splinter's cage fell and broke open, allowing the rat to escape. Splinter ran into the streets, but as he moved, he witnessed a person shoving an old blind man out of the way of an oncoming truck. A canister fell off the back of the truck and began bouncing towards the sidewalk. It knocked into a young boy carrying 4 pet baby turtles, and he dropped them, whereupon they fell into a sewer drain. The canister cracked open and a strange ooze dripped onto them. The rat was likewise covered in the ooze, and it caused both he and the 4 infant turtles to mutate. By the next morning, they had all increased in size and intellect. As the turtles grew, Splinter began training them in the ways of ninjutsu, just as he had learned from Master Yoshi. Using an old book he had found in a sewer drain, he named the turtles after 4 famous Renaissance artists, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo. As his story concludes, Splinter reveals that his students are now ready for their most important mission, to avenge the death of Splinter's master by killing the Shredder. Raphael is sent out to deliver a challenge to the Shredder. After tracking him to his complex, he takes down several of the Shredder's goons, then throws a scythe through a window with a written challenge upon it. The following night, the Ninja Turtles arrive on a rooftop at the prearranged meeting place. Shredder appears along with members of the Foot Clan. He sends his soldiers to Turtles, who easily defeat them. When only Shredder remains, they each take a turn at him. Raphael leaps first, followed by Leonardo. The Shredder batters them down, but Leonardo's blade has cut deep into his armor. Still, the Turtles also bear the marks of Shredder's claws. Changing their strategy, they begin attacking him as a group from a distance, using Shoryuken to keep him off balance. They close in on him, and Donatello shatters his helmet with his bow staff. As the Shredder reels about, Leonardo impales him with his katana. Shredder is defeated, and Leonardo offers up his katana so that he may choose an honorable death. Shredder has no intention of dying without taking the turtles with him, however, and has a thermite grenade on his person. Before he can detonate it, Donatello hurls his bow staff at him. The weapon strikes Shredder, knocking him off the roof of the building to his doom. Satisfied that they have avenged their sensei's master, they descend from the rooftop and return home. One of them intones, "We are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We strike hard and fade away into the night." The end. So here's some facts and trivia based on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 comic and some facts about the 1990 movie that you may enjoy. Shredder was killed in the very first issue. The Turtles' sworn enemy wasn't around for a long time in the original comic. In fact, Shredder was stabbed and died in an attempt to blow up the Turtles and himself with a grenade. The comic started as a parody. Given how long ago it was, it's easy to forget the origin of the comics. In fact, Eastman and Laird created it as a parody of the Daredevil comics. Splinter's name was a parody of Stick from Daredevil, and the Foot Clan was a parody of the Hand. Also, it is suggested in the first issue that the ooze that mutated the Turtles and Splinter was the same chemical that caused Matt Murdock to go blind. Uncle Phil voiced Shredder. James Avery, aka Uncle Phil from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, was the voice of Shredder in the animated series. He remained on for nearly 7 seasons. They once had an anime adaptation called Mutant Turtles Superman Legend. There was once a time when the Turtles got an anime treatment. The short-lived adaptation that only lasted 2 episodes had the Turtle Gang transform into beefy green mecha. Hey, at least they still liked pizza in the show. There was almost a 5th turtle. A 4th film that was in the works was meant to feature a 5th turtle named Kirby, named after the famed Marvel Comics writer and artist Jack Kirby. Sadly, the film was scrapped and Kirby never came to be. There are also 2 other turtles that would be considered the 5th turtle as well. There was Venus de Milo, who was featured in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Next Mutation movie. And then there is Jenica, who is featured prominently in the IDW Turtles series. The Turtles were almost played by comedians. Back in the 1980s, when Eastman and Laird were receiving pitches for the film, they originally suggested 4 comedians to play the starring roles of the Ninja Turtles. These comedians were Crystal, Sam Kinison, Bobcat Goldthwait, and Gallagher. Michelangelo was the first and last turtle. Initially, Michelangelo was the prototype turtle, which inspired the origin of the characters. He is portrayed as a weak and unskilled amongst the group. However, as Ronin, he is fierce as he is determined to avenge the death of his brothers. I hope you enjoyed this look back at the first issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1984. It's pretty cool. I really enjoyed doing the research and reading the book for the very first time because I'd never read it before, and I thought it was really awesome. My introduction to the Turtles was of course, like most other kids, it was the '80s cartoon, and then the toy line and the video games. I honestly didn't know there was a black and white independent series until probably the mid '90s, and I'd love to go back and get all of them. But I mean, let's face it, those first few issues are pretty expensive. So if I ever get a hold of those, they're probably going to be reprints. But hey, I'd just love to have them in my collection. Maybe not the full maybe not the full run, but maybe some of them. And that's all for this episode of Tony's Comic Spotlight. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch it. It does really mean a lot to me. Like and subscribe on your way out if you enjoyed the video. And as always, take it easy. God bless, and I'll see you next time.